If you're planning to move to Kenya, guys, or any African country, I would totally advise you to learn the local language. You don't have to get it like spot on, but actually learn something, some greetings,
Karibu. Hello, brother. Respect.
some words, you know, beginners, you know. But if you're definitely going to live there, you should try to learn the language. I mean, in Kenya, everybody speaks English. Are you live around here too?
Yeah, we are just around.
Oh, you're just around, just chilling?
Yeah, just chilling.
So it's not necessarily a priority, but I think if you're going to live there, it's best to try to learn Swahili. Because in my opinion, guys, from what I've seen is sometimes, you know, I see some people complain, they would say, oh, I went out with this person and they meet up with people from, you know, in Kenya and they start speaking Swahili. And I felt really left out. Or I'm doing business, I bring this person to do business with this person and this person starts speaking Swahili and I feel like something is going on. They're not letting me know. You know what I'm saying? And I would say to the person, well, I totally get it. I would feel left out as well, but maybe it's a good time to try to learn the language. You know what I'm saying? Because learning a local language is very powerful. You know what I'm saying? It helps you to be in the mix and it helps, you know, people can leave you out of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Unless they speak in private behind your back. But, you know, imagine standing there and somebody saying something about you or trying to rob you or whatever. Not necessarily saying people are robbing you in Kenya, but imagine trying to do business and people are speaking to each other and they try to shortchange you and you don't know about it. You know what I'm saying? Or they're saying something bad about you and you don't know about it. Which shouldn't really affect you anyway because, you know, people can say what they want to say about you. But I'm just saying learning the local language is very helpful, even though everybody speaks English. If you're going for a holiday, yeah, learn a few words. I'm not going to lie to you. Before I go to Kenya, I didn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really literally plan it. You know what I'm saying? I did a video and I was asking people where should I travel first. And then they choose. You know, I made up my mind as well. But they choose for me and I said, okay, let me go to Kenya. It was Ghana versus Kenya. And people choose Kenya. So I went to Kenya and, you know, I learned a few words. The problem where I didn't learn more is because everyone spoke English. But I think when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it and, you know, as I said, from the experience of some people I know telling me that, you know, they be speaking about business with this person and it's all English because they don't know Swahili. But when they meet up with other business people, everybody's speaking Swahili. And he's like, why do you speak Swahili when you know, we are working together? Why are you speaking Swahili to these people? I need to understand everything that's going on. And in fact, you will never be able to speak a language fluently, but you can at least try. I think I kind of challenged myself to learn more Swahili before I go back to Kenya. Or if I plan to live in Kenya, I will literally try to learn as much Swahili as possible. You know, I speak 3 languages, you know. Otherwise, I'm English. I speak Italian and I speak Norwegian. My Italian used to be very good. But I've forgotten a lot of it because I haven't used it for a long time. You know, when you don't use a language, when you don't use it, you lose it. You know, if it's not your mother tongue, you know what I'm saying. Otherwise, for music, you know, language is one of my biggest passions. You know, it's exciting to speak something, you know, like a different language. It's a lot of fun. It makes you feel proud of yourself. And, you know, and it will encourage some people to do it as well. Because I remember being in London and I was on the door once and some Jamaicans came up to me and I was chatting to them and then some Italians was coming in the club because Italians mostly work in the club and a lot of Italians come here as well. So I stopped to speak to these people in Italian and the Jamaicans, they're like, yo, what you just say? Like, what did you just say? What language is that? And I told him Italian. They're like, you speak Italian? I'm like, yeah. They're like, Pombokla, dog. They couldn't believe it. Because it's not normal for a Jamaican to speak a different language, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, when you're in Jamaica, you're in Jamaica. Everybody speak patois. Everybody want to speak like Jamaican. It's cool. You know, but for me, you know, I remember the first time I was working in the door in London and I heard chiusa la porta, you know, like close the door. And I'm like, what? This sounds good. For me, Italian is one of the, it sounds like music, you know, it's my favorite language. I really love Italian, you know, so I took my time and I learned it. I learned a lot of it. I didn't even travel there. People used to say to me all the time, where did you learn? Did you learn Italian? Did you go there? Even when I speak to Italians, they're like, ask me if I spend time in Italian. I'm like, no. And they couldn't believe it. They can't believe it, you know. So guys, it's very important to learn a language, you know. You know, you don't have to learn the Swahili. Any country you plan to visit or to live, it's advisable to learn the language, you know what I'm saying? And as I said, learning a language is not overnight. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of dedication. You know, what I usually do, when I was learning Italian, what I did was I got some tapes and I used to just play it in the house. Instead of playing music, I just play the tapes. You just repeat, you know, hear it over and over, and I get used to the way the words sound. Because speaking a language is not all about, you know, the language itself as well. It's about how you deliver it. You know, it's about the delivery. You know what I'm saying? The way it sounds, you know what I mean? So, you know, you could say something, you could say buongiorno in Italy, you know? Or you could say buongiorno, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's the way you say it, you know what I'm saying? So learning a language is essential, is a key, you know? My kids right now, they're learning Spanish. And I want to teach, you know, they're actually going to Spain next year. So that's a good thing. You know, I plan to teach them Swahili as well. And I'm trying to tell them that if you learn Spanish, Portuguese is going to be easier. Italian is going to be a little bit easier for you. So it's almost like learning 3 languages in one. Not really, but, you know, and French is like, these languages are Latin based. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, actually before coming to Norway, I was actually learning Spanish, you know, so I can speak I can say some things in Spanish, I can say some things in French, but I won't say I speak Spanish and I won't say I speak French, you know what I'm saying? You know, so it's very essential, guys, to learn something new, learn a language, man. You know, especially if you have time on your hands, you know what I'm saying? You be proud of yourself. Imagine going to Kenya and, you know, you get there and of course things might sound a little bit different because what I've learned is that if you learn a language, for example, I've learned Italian in London, but I know when I go to Italy it's different because when I learned Italian, it was Queen's Italian, like from Rome. You know, like that Roman Italian, that's Italian I've learned. And Italians, they learn Queen's English in Italy. So when they come to London, they're a little bit confused as well. I'll give you an example. Italians would tell me that when they come to London, they would ask for some water, but they hear people saying water or auntie. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, they're confused because what is water? What is auntie? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, auntie is auntie, you know, and water is water. So it's like, it can be very confusing if you learn a language. That's why it's best to visit the country. Learn the language, but still visit the country. And then you get the right pronunciation, or you get the local pronunciation, the Queen's English, or the Queen's Italian, or whatever, you know, and then you get the street, you know. So, you know, as I said, guys, you know, to make your life easier, especially if you're going to do business and, you know, you think, oh, you know, I'm going to a country where, you know, it's much poorer and people might say things that I don't understand and I might get left out and I might be lost in translation and I might be at a disadvantage. Learn the language. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'm out for now. One love. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.